Tattoo, take all the cards.
11 Darkest Moments of Batman the Animated Series. The success of Batman the Animated Series is no secret. It was one of the most popular cartoons of the 90s, and it was truly impeccable to see some of Batman's best stories being animated. Even today, it holds up its candle in terms of popularity. Even though the series was created for the entertainment of children, it wasn't one to shy away from diving into darker, more mature themes for its audience, considering DC did intend to appeal to a more mature audience at times.
Reverse the transformation, or I'll...
Throughout several of its episodes, the series dives into themes where we see the villains battling severe mental illness as they commit their crimes. We even see Batman suffering from depression as he wallows in despair over his failures. We see strained father and son relationships and a story about a 30-year-old woman trapped in the body of a 5-year-old, something that we later see in the creepy horror movie Orphan, even though the premise for the both are very, very different.
Haven't I told you not to run off?
I didn't mean to.
Before diving into the content, we would like to make a very small request to our reviewers. Please subscribe to Marvelous Videos, like and comment on our videos, and press the bell icon to be notified whenever we upload a video. We would be grateful to you, and we hope to bring you the best nerdy content. So without further ado, let's get right into the video.
I am the least of your worries.
Number 1. Mr. Freeze, frozen Grant Walker, and himself beneath the ocean forever. A robot breaks into Arkham Asylum and escapes with Mr. Freeze. The guards check the security footage. It makes Batman think how the one pulling the strings behind the escape might be someone else. He consults the robotics expert Carl Rossum, who spots a resemblance to the models he had built for Grant Walker. Meanwhile, Walker releases Mr. Freeze from the robot's captivity in his theme park Oceania. Mr. Freeze had a slowed down aging process and was practically immortal due to it, which Walker wanted for himself in order to continue his work as a mogul. Walker wants Freeze to duplicate the accident that gave him the cryogenic powers.
I want to live like this, abandoned and alone.
Freeze refuses to do so when Walker pulls out his ace, a suspended Nora Fries in her cryotube. Freeze had held the belief that his wife had died, but Walker reveals how he managed to salvage Nora's tube during the accident. In the end, Freeze agrees to help Walker provided he restores Nora.
Friend, all you have to do is grant my wish.
Walker builds a huge cold gun to freeze the world as he believes it is too corrupt to survive. When Batman and Robin stumble upon this, Mr. Freeze and Walker's robots capture them. Freeze holds up his end of the bargain. Batman tries to reason with him and mentions how Nora would hate Freeze killing billions for her sake. Mr. Freeze relents and releases the duo. Together, they take down the robots and trap Walker. Freeze broadcasts a warning message to people about Walker's intentions and sets the cannon's core to overload. Oceania is engulfed in ice, and the core explodes while the three of them escape. Walker sinks in a block of ice and realizes that his newfound immortality will keep him in this trapped state forever. Meanwhile, Freeze reaches out to his wife's capsule in the Arctic waters. Number 2. Batman let Ra's al Ghul drown in the Lazarus Pit. Ra's tries to throw Talia into the Lazarus Pit, but Batman tries to prevent it. Talia slaps her father, causing him to come back to his senses that were previously ensnared by the pit. Ra's decides to kill Batman and activates self-destruction. Batman and Robin manage to escape using a rope.
You okay?
Sure. I wish I'd worn the thermal tights, but other than...
Ra's leaves and Robin claims hearing the word Orpheus a couple of times. Bruce discovers that it is a satellite that orbits around a desert. Batman heads there and infiltrates the stronghold, but Ubu finds him. He overpowers Ubu easily, but the other forces gang up on him and he is captured.
For this indignity, I will see you suffer.
Ra's asks Ubu not to kill Batman. He is unmasked and his equipment and utility belt taken for search. Roz then confesses to Batman that he intends to detonate bombs in all the Lazarus pits around the world in order to kill more than 2 billion people and restore the world's ecosystems.
Even now, my people are placing bombs, such as that one, over the various Lazarus pits.
Roz asks for Batman to be locked up when Talia stops Roz and Yubu and then kisses Batman. When locked up in his cell, Batman finds a lockpick in his mouth thanks to Talia's kiss. While Roz activates the bomb, Batman detonates a room of armaments, forcing Roz's forces away. He defeats Yubu and uses a sword to duel Roz. When they reach the top of the pit, Batman throws his sword towards the signal device. The countdown stops and an enraged Roz loses his balance and falls into the pit. Batman leaves the stronghold with Talia, who assumes she is now a prisoner. However, they share a passionate kiss before he leaves with Robin on their plane. Robin wonders if they will ever see Roz again, and Batman believes his story to be over. However, Roz appears from the Lazarus pit and laughs like a maniac.
What am I?
Selina, come with me. I'll find some way to help you.
Number 3. Catwoman transforms into a humanoid cat hybrid. A sniper spots Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman, at the Gotham Zoo, talking to a tiger. He takes Selina while a guard tries to stop him and is instead shoved into the tiger's den. Meanwhile, Bruce is unable to contact Selina when he learns that she went to visit the zoo. Bruce heads there and hears what the guard had to say about a gorilla-like man taking her.
The woman.
Oh yeah, man, her taste in boyfriends lacks severely.
Selina regains consciousness and is approached by a humanoid cat. Dr. Emil Dorian introduces itself as Tigress and himself as a man who creates humanoid creatures. He injects Selina with a serum. Batman finds a tranquilizer which he takes to Dr. Kirk Langstrom, who recognizes it as the brainchild of Dr. Dorian and explains Dorian's work of fusing a cat's DNA with other creatures. Batman locates Dorian's hideout but is caught by the sniper, aka Garth.
Uninvited guests.
Garth!
Dorian notices the two of them and shows off, having transformed Selina into a real cat creature. Batman fights Tigress while Selina tries to stop the latter. Garth is made to take Selina and Tigress away, and Selina is captured in a net. Dorian decides to test Tigress on Batman and tells him that he will hand out the antidote for Selina's condition if he can defeat Tigress. He catches Tigress in a net, who reveals that Dorian had claimed that if Batman was gone, Selina would love Tigress. Selina finds Batman and tells Tigress that he cannot win her affection by killing Batman. Dorian blames Selina for being Tigress's weakness and tries to kill her, but Tigress defends her. Enraged, Dorian plans to kill Tigress instead, who realizes that his father has turned against him. He destroys the lab. He then asks Batman to take an injured Dorian to the hospital for medical care. He gives Selina the antidote and bids farewell before returning to the forest.
Fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Number 4. The Joker plants a bomb in a children's party. Mayor Hill speaks about building a safer Gotham City during his speech when a pair of criminals intervene the ongoing speech. Batman appears to take them down, but Hill expresses his distaste towards Batman, who acts outside the law and compares him to the Joker.
What? Compare me to Batman? I got more style, more brain.
On hearing this, the Joker is enraged and swears revenge. During the birthday party of Jordan, Hill's son, Joker infiltrates as Jekyll the Clown. Meanwhile, the party is nothing more than a political campaign, and Jordan, who just wants to practice his magic tricks, is forced to greet the guests. He meets Jekyll and is enthralled by his tricks. As Jekyll leaves, he disguises a dynamite as a candle and places it on his birthday cake.
Keep watching, and I'll, get the birthday bread.
Bruce Wayne, who was also present in the party, hears the Joker's menacing laugh and knocks the cake into the pool, causing a harmless explosion. However, Jordan has escaped into the Joker's van and reached his hideout. He asks Joker to teach him magic tricks when Batman crashes the scene. Jordan is made to lure Batman and where the Joker attacks him.
We've bagged a big one this time.
He is then suspended upside down and bound in a tank filled with water. When Jordan realizes Joker is Jekyll, he strikes the tank with an axe. Before he could strike it again, Joker takes the axe away, but Batman uses the crack to break free. The Joker catches up with Jordan at the amusement park and gets on a roller coaster with him. Batman jumps in the second it starts to move. Joker attacks Batman with grenades from there, and Batman manages to kick Joker off of the coaster into the water. He then yells for Jordan, who takes his hand and is taken back home. Hill apologizes to Jordan for not caring about his feelings and gives him his best birthday hug ever.
Me, boss. I know it ain't you, Rhino. You're too stupid to be a traitor.
Oh, thanks, boss.
Number 5. Tragic Life of the Ventriloquist. After a boxing match, a trio of muggers rob the take before the police arrive. They go to their boss, Scarface, and continue on their crime spree. Commissioner Gordon shows Batman a video of their escapades, from where Batman identifies one of them as Charles Rhino Daly thanks to his tattoo. Batman tracks Rhino down and follows him to his hideout. He then sees their boss, Scarface, who turns out to be a ventriloquist's puppet.
Into creep. He's just a hired help. I'm the boss here.
He runs into Ventriloquist later, who claims to know nothing about the situation, but is then summoned by Scarface. Batman plants a bug on him and leaves. He plays the voices of Scarface alongside the ventriloquist, and even his computer detects it as 2 different voices. He believes that the ventriloquist suffers from split personality disorder. From the bug, he learns that a platinum shipment is being held and his men must steal it, but he assumes that he will be double-crossed and intends to kill the one who betrays him.
It's a premonition. Premonition? Don't put words in my mouth!
Batman intercepts the muggers at the ship, but Rhino knocks him out with a stack of metal bars. He is tied over a pit of dummies with sharp fingernails when Scarface reveals that he was aware of the bug being planted at the Platinum heist being a trap. Scarface orders for his death, but Batman manipulates Scarface to believe that the ventriloquist is the traitor. So Scarface orders for the ventriloquist's death. Scarface tries to do it himself, but Batman gets free and tries to stop it. He is attacked by the thugs, but he overpowers them easily. One of them accidentally shoots Scarface while trying to hit Batman, and the ventriloquist cries over Scarface being shot. The ventriloquist is then treated at Arkham, and he is believed to have healed, but he had secretly created a new body for Scarface. Number 6. The Mad Hatter, Most Sympathetic Villains. Neurotechnology expert Jervis Tech heightens the brainpower of a bunch of lab rats, causing them to sit around a miniature tea set and behave like humans. His co-worker Alice has a boyfriend, Billy, so Jervis decides to use mind control to win her love. On learning that Billy has broken up with her, he takes her on a magical date. He notices a poster of Alice at the Mad Hatter tea party and decides to put his device to good use.
Tonight, let me be your guide.
I'll get my coat.
He takes her out dressed in the Mad Hatter's costume when they are attacked by thugs. Jervis uses the device on them to take over their mind and make them jump into the river. Batman investigates the case and finds Jervis's mind control cards. Meanwhile, Jervis takes Alice to the Beret Rouge Club, where he has manipulated everyone into being his servants. At the Batcave, Alfred shows Bruce a picture of Alice at the tea party, causing Batman to have an epiphany about Jervis. Meanwhile, Alice finds Billy when she comes back home, and he apologizes to her. Next day, Jervis is enraged to know that Alice is engaged. Kate tells him that Bruce wants to see him when he places a mind control card on Kate's head and leaves. He captures Billy and uses mind control to make him dump Alice. Alice returns home to Jervis and Batman when he uses the card on Alice as well, and 2 thugs dressed as the Walrus and the Carpenter attack Batman. Batman manages to go to the storyboard land and find Jervis's victims dressed as characters from Alice in Wonderland on the giant chessboard from the story. Batman manages to save Billy while Billy removes the people's hats. The Hatter traps Batman under card walls, but Batman throws a batarang at the Jabberwock, causing its head to fall on the Hatter. He destroys the control band and everyone is returned to their normal state. Jervis is seen to be heartbroken.
It's over, Bolton.
Number 7. Batman leads Lyle Bolton to become a villain. Batman and Robin return Scarecrow to Arkham Asylum, who begs the guards to let him go as he wants to get away from their new chief of security, Lyle Bolton. On speaking to Bolton, Batman has a bad feeling about him. A hearing is held following some misgivings about Bolton, where Harley Quinn, Ventriloquist, and Scarecrow imply that they have been intimidated to remain silent. Bruce recommends an extension of Bolton's contracts, causing the inmates to panic and explain that he physically and verbally assaults them.
If we don't speak up now, we'll never get another chance. He threatens us, takes away our privileges.
Bolton confesses that the inmate should be beaten to death and is restrained by Bruce. He is then fired by Dr. Bartholomew, but Bolton refers to the pandering doctors, soft-hearted police, and bureaucrats as the real problem and swears revenge. While watching the news, he sets to target the liberal media as well. After 6 months, Gleason is abducted after a dinner with Bruce. The one behind this is Bolton, who is calling himself Lockup when Batman shows up. Bolton explains how Batman can catch the criminals while Lockup will ensure they never see sunlight ever again. The idea is discarded by Batman, and they fight, but Lockup manages to escape.
Just what this town needs, another psycho in a Halloween costume.
City officials begin to go missing, and things hit the roof when Gordon and Bartholomew fall prey to this. Lockup then abducts Mayor Hill, but he leaves his cargo behind. Batman finds out that the registration number is of a naval vessel used as a temporary prison where Bolton presided over security. Batman and Robin manage to free the others, and Batman fights Lockup. Batman overpowers him while Robin takes the hostages to safety. In the end, Bolton is locked up in Arkham, but he is satisfied because he can now keep an eye on the inmates. Bolton fell victim to the heat of vengeance as Batman investigated his antics, causing him to become a villain. Which brings the question, did Batman create more villains as he tried to make Gotham crime-free? Number 8. Transforming into ManBat. A humanoid bat breaks into Phoenix Pharmaceuticals and assaults a security guard. It steals chemicals and is one of the several pharmacy break-ins that have taken place recently. Both the police and Batman investigate the robbery separately. Batman sneaks into the crime scene with his knockout gas, but is spotted by 2 scientists who notify the police. Bullock joins Batman with his squad. Batman finds an audio tape and some samples of the creature, but the police try to trap him instead. Batman manages to escape and takes the samples to the Gotham Zoo. At the bat exhibit, he meets Dr. March, who seems to be obsessed with bats. He asks Dr. March to assess the samples under the pretense of them being a pest problem at Wayne Manor. The bat hair, according to Dr. March, is from a common brown bat, while the sounds are from the bats fighting in the chimney, but the bat computer is unable to verify this, so Batman believes that Dr. March and the employees at the zoo are involved in the fiasco. He enters the zoo laboratory and finds Dr. March's son-in-law, Kirk, working by himself. He has created a formula that transforms him into a ManBat temporarily. However, he has become addicted to it and keeps raiding pharmacies to procure the materials necessary to keep this going. He tries to make this permanent, but is interrupted by Batman. He transforms and attacks Batman, but his wife enters the lab and leaves in shame. He drags Batman across Gotham sky and flies past Gotham Air 1. The police, who had initially thought that Batman and ManBat might be the same person, spot them and realize that they are different. Meanwhile, Batman subdues Kirk. He is taken to the Batcave and the transformation is reversed. He is then returned to his wife, who is grateful to have her husband back.
And who says opera has to be boring?
Number 9. Penguin goes on a rampage. Penguin tries to rob a picture of ducks from a museum, but is captured by Batman. After being released, he intends to join the elite society, but instead has to take the bus with the commoners. Socialist Veronica Vreeland mopes about not being relevant enough in high society, and upon Penguin's release, decides to throw a party and invite him for social credit points. Veronica asks him out on a date, which excites him. He meets her at a restaurant where his jokes and behavior make people uncomfortable. As they leave, some thugs try to mug them, and Penguin fights back. Later, socialite Pierce talks to Veronica about Penguin lacking style and the failed mugging, but Veronica takes Penguin's side as she was not used to people rushing to her rescue. Bruce arrives and learns that Veronica went out with the Penguin for publicity and warns them about the consequences of crossing Penguin. At the party, the guests are appalled by Penguin's behavior while Veronica begins to feel guilty. He admires a gold penguin, which he wanted to gift Veronica, but overhears her talking to Pierce about their bad joke. Enraged, Penguin uses knockout gas on them and kidnaps Veronica. Pierce goes to the police where $1 million ransom note is sent to him, which he had to deliver himself. At the drop-off point, he falls into the sewers and is taken to the opera house in a duck boat. He is then chained while Veronica is tied to a chandelier. Veronica tries to reason with him while he prepares to kill them. Batman intervenes and fights Penguin, who causes the opera house to catch on fire. Batman saves Veronica and Pierce and stops Penguin, who is taken into custody. Veronica apologizes to Penguin, who rebuffs her and is supported by the police for doing so.
I chose this life. I used the night. I became the night.
Number 10. Batman questioning his purpose. Batman laments on the death anniversary of his parents and criticizes himself, much to Alfred's displeasure. He scoffs at a child on the streets dressed in a Batman costume. Meanwhile, a technicality causes the conviction of Penguin to overturn. The boy, Wizard, is cornered by thugs in Crime Alley who demand payment from him for working, but Batman stops them. However, one of the thugs fell on the roses Bruce had left for his parents in the alley. Batman gets angry and hands Wizard to Leslie Tompkins, prompting her to take him to Mitchell Street Mission.
This was a setup. The Jazzman was ready for us.
Mob boss Jimmy the Jasmine Peak wounds Commissioner Gordon during a raid, and Batman realizes that the fight at the alley was a setup to delay him. He manages to apprehend Jimmy, but Gordon's life is hanging by a thread. Harvey Bullock blames Batman for this, causing him to break his forensics equipment at the Batcave in despair. Jazzman is sent to Stonegate Penitentiary, where a flunky tells him how he could escape, but he seeks revenge on Gordon for capturing him before. Meanwhile, Bruce wallows in self-pity and considers Gordon to be a victim of his failures. He decides to quit being Batman and throws his mask away. However, Jazzman escapes to kill Gordon. Dick tries to get the message to Bruce, who does not respond and decides to fight Jazzman himself. However, Batman decides to go fight alongside Robin after all. Batman intercepts Jazzman at the hospital and a violent fight ensues. Batman uses his Batarang, causing the Jazzman to destroy his hand with his own bullet. Jazzman is recaptured and Gordon gains consciousness. He uplifts Batman and calls him a hero for fighting crime. As he returns, Batman meets Wizard, who thanks Batman for saving his life. Batman finds his purpose once more. Number 11. Baby Doll's Meltdown. Batman and Robin investigate a case of missing actors from a sitcom called Love the Baby. The latest actor from the show disappears as well, and the blonde girl turns out to be the titular baby doll of the show, Mary Louise Doll. She suffers from systemic hypoplasia, a condition that stops her body from aging past the age of 5, even though she is 30. Baby's former co-star Tammy Vance is also captured, and Detective Bullock puts Batman and Robin on the case. Their Batmobile is intercepted by Baby, who throws herself in front of the car, causing the Batmobile to crash. They think she is a regular child and she cries for her mommy. When a red-haired woman takes her away, she says, "I didn't mean to," which is one of her lines from the show.
You'd better have a pretty good explanation for this.
I didn't mean to.
Batman and Robin realize her true identity, but she disappears with a kickball smoke bomb. They go to Summer Gleason to learn why she is kidnapping her former co-stars. Apparently she had gotten them all laid off from the show. At her hideout, she sets up a birthday cake for herself and speaks to the captured co-stars as if they were still on set and in their characters. Robin points out that after the ratings of the show went down, Cousin Spunky was added to the cast, who quickly replaced Baby as the fan favorite, causing Doll to quit in rage. Batman and Robin decided to trap Baby and rescue her hostages.
Are still a stinky jerkface, Spunky.
Spunky is kidnapped and taken to the hideout, which is not the mock version of their set. Doll explains how her life was terrible after she quit the show, so she wants to go back to her previous life, even though the actors keep protesting. She wishes to redo her birthday episode, but uses dynamite instead of a candle. However, she does not step away from the dynamite as she intends to commit suicide, but Spunky saves her and reveals himself to be Robin in disguise. Batman crashes the party, but Miriam fights him with her incredible martial arts, allowing Baby to escape. In the end, the duo overpower Miriam and carry the hostages to safety. They follow Doll into the House of Mirrors in Funland Amusement Park. Doll has a breakdown and begins to shoot at the mirrors. When Batman appears, she clutches onto his leg and tells him, "I didn't mean to." What did you think of these episodes? Did you enjoy this video? If yes, then don't forget to like and comment on this video. Till then, goodbye and have a nice one.
You can be my assistant. Come on, this'll be a killer!